ואצלנו הערב בירושלים הקרנת בכורה בישראל של הסרט הכחשה. עלילתו נטועה בקרקע המציאות. הרי לפני יותר מ-20 שנה קבע בית משפט בבריטניה כי היסטוריון בריטי נודע, דיוויד אירווינג, הוא מכחיש שואה. פסק הדין ההיסטורי ניתן לטובתה של ההיסטוריונית הנודעת פרופסור דברה ליפשטדט. השופט הבריטי הצדיק את ליפשטדט. אירווינג הוא אכן מכחיש שואה. והערב כאמור הקרנת הבכורה בישראל של הסרט המבוסס על הפרשה. הנה קטע שבו מתואר מפגש דמיוני, פומבי, בין מכחיש השואה אירווינג לבין דברה ליפשטדט הנערך בעת שהרצתה לפני סטודנטים.
I say to you quite tastelessly that more women died on the back seat of Senator Edward Kennedy's car at Chappaquiddick than ever died in a gas chamber at Auschwitz.
It is my pleasure to introduce Professor Debra Lipstadt. Whatever the reasons that people become deniers, they often have an agenda which they won't admit to.
Why do you continually denigrate the work of David Irving?
You can have opinions about the Holocaust, but I won't meet with anyone who says the Holocaust didn't happen.
Professor Lipstadt, I am that David Irving. And I've got $1,000 to give anyone who can show me a document that proves the Holocaust.
I will not debate you, not here, not now, not
Because
ever.
you can't. Well...
פרופסור ליפשטדט הגיע ארצה כאורחת פסטיבל הקולנוע היהודי בסינמטק בירושלים, שם מוקרן הערב כאמור הסרט בהקרנת בכורה, ואנו שוחחנו עמה. הנה. How do you feel about the movie?
I feel very gratified that the movie was made. I think, first of all, I think it's a good movie. I think it captures what happened very, very well. And I'm particularly gratified by the fact that it sticks to the truth. Even though this film has its origins in Hollywood, it's very much a British production as well. And Hollywood and the British and the film industry are not famous for sticking to the truth. Here they stuck to the truth. Because I stress to them, this is a story about truth. You can't fictionalize it. When Rachel Weisz, who was a magnificent actress, came on board to play me, she and I spent a couple of days together at her home, talking, going over the script, just exchanging ideas. She asked me about my life. She asked me about all sorts of things, both those direct...
She did a good homework.
She did her homework. She's a very good...
Did they ask you to play yourself?
No. I could never have played myself, not in a million years. They have a cast that is just amazing. Rachel Weisz, Tom Wilkinson, Timothy Spall, Andrew Scott. I wasn't going to mix it up with them. Those are 18.
How did you feel about the decision of the court?
I was amazed. I knew, as the court case went on, I knew we were going to win. I mean, the facts were on our side. History was on our side.
And the judge?
But I didn't know what the judge would do. And I was told by people very familiar with the British judicial system that British judges have a tendency to be very even-handed. Yes, she said this, but he said that. This, that kind of thing. And also, they speak in their own language. So one of the things British judges will sometimes do is they'll say, this witness was not helpful. That's code speak for this witness lied. Everybody in the court knows when the judge says you were not helpful, you're a liar.
This is the judicial understatement.
Exactly. But I didn't want judicial understatement. I wanted, and I got it. He called him a liar, a falsifier of history, an anti-Semite, a racist.
The subject of the Holocaust has become a subject for a film, for a movie.
This is a film, actually, it's about the Shoah, it's about the Holocaust, but it's about much more than that. It's about truth and lies and opinions and facts. And what are the difference between truth or facts, opinions and lies?
Do you believe that this phenomenon of Holocaust denial is popular now?
It's popular. I think there are two kinds of Holocaust denial. There's hardcore Holocaust denial.
Historians?
Not historians. They're people who write about history, but there are almost no historians who give it any value. But there are people like David Irving who say there were no gas chambers, there was no plan to kill the Jews. That's what I call hardcore denial. There's softcore denial, which are people who make... who say, we hear too much about the Holocaust. Why is everybody talking about the Holocaust? Or who do things like make comparisons that if you begin to say what you're saying is anti-Semitic, they will try to shut you up by saying, "Oh, you're just using the Holocaust in order to quiet me," or they'll make analogies to Israel's policies and talk about the Nazi-like policies of Tzahal. And you can disagree with Tzahal, some of the things Tzahal does. You can disagree with Israeli policies vis-a-vis the Palestinians. But to make analogies to the Holocaust is just historically inaccurate. But I want to add another point here, which might be a little controversial, but
we accept it.
Okay, yeah, this is a country not afraid of controversy. At the same time that there's certain people who try to say, "Oh, I'm tired of the Holocaust, enough about the Holocaust, you're always talking about the Holocaust." And I think often, not always, but often that comes out of a root of anti-Semitism. On the other side, we as Jews, as people who particularly care about the Holocaust to experience, have to be careful.
In what way?
We can't, even if someone disagrees with us or disagrees with the policies of the State of Israel, we can't ipso facto say, he's an anti-Semite. There are people who can disagree with the State of Israel and not be anti-Semites at all. If we don't like some policy, we can't say, "Oh, this is just like the Nazis." One of the things that bothered me very much happened about a year ago when analogies were made or comments were made that the Mufti taught Hitler about how to kill the Jews. Hitler didn't need any lesson from the Mufti about how to kill the Jews. Now, am I saying that to say the Mufti was a nice guy? No. And had God forbid, the Shoah come to the Yishuv, the Mufti would have been very happy to help organize it and plan it. I have no doubt about that. But Hitler didn't need the Mufti to teach him. We have to be careful about, sometimes we have enemies, and sometimes we have enemies who are anti-Semites. Sometimes people do things that are bad, and sometimes people do things that are bad that evoke, that remind us of the Holocaust. We can't use the charge of anti-Semitism. We can't use the charge of the Holocaust, because people will stop listening. It's like Chicken Little, always yelling, "Dear me, the sky is falling, dear me, the sky is falling." And when the sky was really falling,
but
nobody listened.
Professor Lippstadt, that Israeli leaders are using the terms of the Second World War, terms from the Shoah, in their political discussions.
I'm a guest in the country. I've lived here years. I've studied here. I have many family and friends here.
I'm asking the phenomenon.
But it's a disturbing phenomenon. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes what they're talking, there's real anti-Semitism.
Yes, sometimes can you make this analogy between
it's very hard.
Days?
No, we haven't, God forbid, and thank God we haven't seen anything analogous to the Shoah. We've seen real anti-Semitism, and in recent years, and my current research now is on what's happening today with anti-Semitism. In recent years, we've seen an uptick, an increase in anti-Semitism, ironically, from the right and from the left. It's different forms. It takes different forms, but it's both there. I had a professor when I was in graduate school who used to say, the one place the political right and the political left meet is on anti-Semitism. But I think that it would be smarter if Israeli leaders were careful. Would say in Hebrew, Chachamim hizaru b'divrechem, wise people, be careful with what you say. Leaders, be careful with what you say. If we always charge and say someone, "You don't disagree with me, you're an anti-Semite," when the real anti-Semite comes along, nobody's going to listen to it.
I thank you very much,
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. אם כן, הסרט הכחשה יצא להקרנות בבתי הקולנוע אצלנו ביום חמישי הבא.